Chipmunks, ready to sing your song? Simon? Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. I'm your co-host, John.
Hey everyone, it's Amanda.
And Amanda, she's joining us on the fly here. So we got a special episode for you today. And as a matter of fact, it is our last episode of season two. Is 2024 comes to an end. This is one of our kind of wrap up. We're going to talk about the holiday seasons upon us. And of course, with that, Amanda, what does that mean as far as holiday season in dentistry?
This is a hot topic that can rattle some thoughts, positive or negative. But of course, we're going to talk about Christmas bonuses, holiday parties, Christmas presents. What kind of we get wrapped up into this. Well, I dedicate my career to this individual that owns this company, and hard work is put in. So this is a hot topic right now in dentistry, of course.
Yeah, this is a good one because nobody really has a right answer whenever it comes to this. And is we were kind of kicking around, hey, what's always a good last episode of the season? And, this is always one of our more popular episodes because let's face it, everybody wants to know what everybody's getting. I mean, I'd say every other post is, hey, what do you girls think? Or I can't believe I got X amount and it's taxed. So we're going to break it down on what's happening. For those of you who don't have social media and follow all that drama, what does happen, what's some of the stuff that's happened for us, and kind of hopefully put some things into perspective to, kind of fan and put some of these flames out. So,
Yeah, so I mean, and this can go in many directions, of course, but let's be honest, just to be frank right away, is that really nobody that owns any sort of company or business, there's no, unwritten rule that you have to give a Christmas bonus, right? I mean, there's nobody that says, that it's expected to get X of whatever that thought is. Uh, there's all these think of these big, large corporations, these very large companies. There's more times likely than not that, you know, someone that's been with a company 20, 30, 40 years, that if it's a large company, that not every employee is getting, a substantial Christmas bonus. I don't know. I've never worked at Walmart, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess that, every Walmart employee is not getting like a $500 bonus for Christmas. Uh, excuse me. And even if it was a 20 or $30 bonus. So, this, I am super, super grateful, of course, if I get a bonus, but I do always have to remind myself as well that if a bonus is given to whatever, whether it's big or if it's small, the fact that it's received at all is, grateful in the fact of that doctor did not have to make that decision to give it.
yeah, and
Now, of course,
I
go
think
ahead.
I think that's a great starting point. Okay. And I honestly feel like this is where some of the animosity stems from is when an office decides to give a bonus and there's really no appreciation that's that's received. You know, we read that all the time. Hey, I just bought a new practice. I'm thinking about giving my staff a Christmas bonus. What does everyone do? And what are the first things? It's like, I used to give a bonus and everybody's ungrateful. It's never enough. People don't thank me. It's,
Yeah. And I know that, me and you talk about that all the time. And, I think that we even, as much as we run a business together, that I think we do our best to even thank each other for, hey, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for helping me out with that, whatever it is. Like, I'm very grateful for our professional business ownership as a school. And it really is a very simple,
Gesture.
you receive a bonus and you literally walk into the operator or to the office where your dentist is and just say, hello, Dr. Newhouse. I'm going to put myself on the doctor list today, not Dr. Hatfield. Hello, Dr. Newhouse. I am super grateful for the holiday bonus I received today. Thank you so much. Even it could be before you even open the envelope,
Right.
just to know that you're grateful for what you received. Or here's a brilliant idea. How about a thank you card? I know we're kicking it old school, showing our ages, talking about some thank you cards and some handwritten notes. But I am a true believer in that it really is the most genuine way to show someone how thankful you are because you took the time to get the card. Could be the dollar pack that's 10 cards and you have them in your junk drawer at home, but you took the time to get the card. You took time to write the 2-second note and to give it to somebody. I just think the gesture goes a long, long way.
Yeah, I mean,
And
gesture of saying thank you, just
yeah,
and unfortunately, whenever we do bring this up, Amanda and I every once in a while will make a preemptive post like, "Hey, it's Christmas season. If you do get a bonus, don't forget to say thank you." And you always have those Grinches that chime in, and it's like, "Oh, thank you so much for the $25 gift card." And it's people just don't realize that, in some cases, maybe they have 8, maybe they have 12 employees. And I get it. I get it. Like you see these company profits, and at the end of the day, it's like, do you want something or not? Because when you come off as unappreciative, you get zero.
yeah, I do think that something as a minimal is, even if you can only do minimal, I think as a business owner that it does show at least some sort of gratitude, whether or not your employees are then, shuffling behind the scenes of conversation of that it wasn't enough. That I do feel that as a business owner, hopefully in the future, if we hire employees, that offering something is always going to be a gratitude of, just thank you for your dedication to me as an employer. Thank you for, going above and beyond. And, you know, I just think that we see so many complaints like about this on social media because let's be honest, uh, the grand scheme of things, I think of why or how this could be fixed to this, interrupted disgruntledness is that dentists don't really have a plan of how they're going to give the Christmas bonus, right? Or give the Christmas incentive or whatever that is. So, there's no plan behind the give. Not saying, oh, I need to plan for this come January, but how are you gonna, in the sense, I guess, you're never gonna be able to keep it fair to a certain extent. Well, I have one idea, but I'll share that later in the podcast. But that, you're never gonna make everybody happy, right?
No,
But
right.
if you're winging it as a business owner, you're really not gonna make anybody happy because you're not even, putting like your own business numbers into play. I see some doctors that are like, oh, well, I give a bonus on, my yearly goal of production and collection is this. So anything above that is split against my employees. I saw where some office managers were getting like $18,000 because, and their employees were getting $6, 7, $8,000 because they went substantially over that yearly number. And the guy and they keep their word that they're going to split it against the employees. I mean, of course, that next year I'm going to guess that production number is even increased. So it's a number every year that gets higher and higher, but it is attainable and it gives your employees something to work for, right?
Right. Right. I mean, I think that's number one. Letting everybody know what the expectation is. You have people kind of spinning tires. They're kind of like, am I getting a bonus? Am I not? How do I saw someone post today. How do I ask my doctor if we're getting a bonus? And I think that it's obviously something you have to nip in the bud. If you kind of are getting that vibe around the office, that it's probably just kind of, hey, I don't do bonuses. Or you'll see some offices that they'll just say, well, Christmas bonus shouldn't be expected. and some of them don't do any bonuses. But then other ones, it's kind of like, hey, I do quarterly bonuses, so it just so happens to fall at the end of, you know, October, November, December. Obviously, the bad thing about that is now you can't really factor in December, so you're not like really helping that person out for the holidays. So, what is the right answer? I think that you need to be upfront with your staff and not play this game of, well, Cheryl's my favorite, so she obviously gets the most. I saw when you said earlier about like you can't please everyone. I saw a lead dental assistant complaining that she got the same amount as everyone in the office and she does she goes above and beyond. And what do you do? Like, okay, so then you complain whenever the hygienist gets more or, the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's like if everybody's, really on the same playing field, I feel like that's one of the best things to do is just give everybody the same bonus if it's just genuinely a gift, right?
Well, I think you could do that, or I guess my opinion is that you can offer, if you have one employee, for example, that makes $20 an hour, and you have another employee that makes $35 an hour, just as a very wide array of numbers, that say if you're going to give a Christmas bonus, my ideal Christmas bonus, and of course, John already knows this, is the week off between Christmas and New Year's, and it just be a paid week. So no matter if someone makes 18, 19, $20 an hour and someone, at 40 to $45 an hour, everybody's basically just getting an extra week of pay and nobody has to use their PTO time. I think that is the most perfect bonus. Whether you give it early, you give it during, a pay period, whatever may have you, if you're thinking about helping your employees financially for Christmas. But then therefore you're just normal pay. You get the week off, everybody's off with their families. And if someone wants to temp to make up extra money then they can do so. But you're off and then there is no fight of, well, Helen got this and, Sally got this and she's been here 6 months, but so and so's been here 10 years and that debacle. So I also think the way doctors could handle it, and I know this is a little bit more thinking, is not offering the same thing every year. We see some employees say, well, some employers will say, well, last year we went to the spa and we did this and we got shopping and we, got pampered, blah, blah, blah. We've done that for the last 5 years, and now this year we got a $200 bonus. Well, we're creatures of habit, right? We're human, so we're creatures of habit. So if you did something for 5 years continuously, and then year number 6, you're like, the doctor's like, I'm not going to do that anymore. As a matter of fact, I'm barely offering anything. Then I think just do something. Do something as an event different every year. So therefore, your employees also aren't expecting the same thing every year, whether that's, office party or parties with the employees and their spouses or significant other, a day away from the office and you do things together. I just think there's so many much easier ways that this can be handled. So many people aren't disgruntled about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's great to go in these groups and ask, but you have a lot of offices that are basically disgusted with it because people don't know how to say thank you. I think going back to that's the main thing is, and I've been in offices before where we got $50, $50, $50. Then everybody, I couldn't believe it. Everybody was openly complaining in the hallway about getting the $50. So what do you think happened the next year? We got zero.
Right?
It's almost like
Yeah.
it had to be taken away for the next year when the $50 came back. Everybody obviously was not happy about it, but they were, a little bit more not as vocal. And
Yeah.
I think, it is. It's a tough pill to swallow to work all year and dedicate yourself and, not call out and stay late and work through lunch. And then somebody gives you 25 and $50. I mean, I can see why it's a slap in the face, but going back to it's not expected. Um, what's the most you ever got as a bonus?
I can't remember the number completely offhand, but I know that it was probably it was around the $1,300 range. And I worked for this doctor for 8 years, and the last 2 years that I was there, I was the only assistant. I don't remember if my bonus that last year was about the same. Maybe it wasn't quite as high. He was a fee for service office, small practice, just a few, a handful of 4 or 5 employees, nothing major. But I also, now that like when we have this conversation, I can think of early on as like my first few years of dental assisting. I don't ever remember receiving anything,
Even when
and
you
I
were
don't know.
going to the office like in flip-flops after a day of like flea market shopping?
Yeah, when I got called into the oral surgery's office, yeah, I mean my first office was an oral surgeon, and I was definitely there for Christmas holiday, and I could have, and I just don't remember. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's definitely not a major substantial moment of me thinking, oh my gosh, that was a huge bonus. Those years that I got over $1,000, that's definitely something that and then you do tend to bank on it. Not that you're like, I just think there needs to be open conversation. Of if you are going to change things, keep that. If you're a doctor and you have offered it for years, and by like Halloween that financially you're not going to be able to give the same bonus or maybe anything at all, then we preach communication. I think you need then to just let it be known. Hey, there's some financial situations in the office. Unfortunately, this year our staff is not going to receive the same bonus as prior years. it just, I mean, you don't have to go into a business explanation behind it. It's really nobody's business. But I would say, respectfully, is, what maybe some people are expecting, even though it shouldn't be, that, if you've given $1,000 for a couple of years and now you're not going to be able to give it this year, then I think a little heads up is worth the communication to just, I guess, soften the blow. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mr. Shirley when he let down poor Clark. Clark went and put down a down payment on a pool, and now he gets the Jelly of the Month club.
Oh,
So
yeah, Jelly of the Month Club. Oh, good old Cousin Eddie.
yeah, just because
Cousin Eddie pulls through, though, wraps him up in that bow, brings him in,
yeah, but I mean,
SWAT team breaks in the windows.
a little bit of communication might have fixed that problem, but for those offices that are kind of looking for, okay, what is the right answer? I once worked with someone. I've never worked in an office like this, but honestly, I think bonus wise, if you plan on giving a Christmas bonus, I think you should figure out whatever that max bonus is, figure out how many hours, annually your office is open, divide that, and then give people an incentive to come to work, but then they kind of control their bonus at the end of the year. The one assistant I worked with, when she would tell me that, I was like, that's great because honestly, if you call out excessively and at the end of the year, you have no one to blame but yourself for your bonus. And it's
Yeah,
all predetermined. Everybody knows the figures on their bonus. So, there's no guessing. There's no, oh, so and so's a favorite, and oh, I'm a lead, and I'm getting X, and it is very sad that people do get bonuses and they're taxed. But as Amanda and I know, some accountants definitely are not afraid to push the bar when it comes to possibly going to jail, and other accountants are definitely afraid of doing anything wrong. So their advice to the office is, hey, you have to tax it. Now, if a doctor wants to give $500, honestly, at that point, they should account for the tax, at which point they might be paying $700 or, pay the tax themselves versus, okay, everybody's getting $500. Now everybody's taking home $300.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, we know, we know some general dentists, very generous, I should say, who, give out nice cash bonuses, but same thing happens. A couple people don't say thank you or unappreciative. And, honestly, the amounts I've heard, I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like people don't, I mean, I couldn't say thank you fast enough if I was getting that.
Yeah.
I've gotten $500 cash a couple times. And, I was extremely grateful for that because it was, perfect timing, ready to go Christmas shopping. And, it was definitely, uh, very, very, fortunate that I got it. I've also been a recipient of a $25 Target gift card. You know, it's
Yes,
it's kind of, it is what it is.
it is.
It's
Regift it for goodness sakes if you don't want it for yourself.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's definitely I remember one year the doctor was like I felt like I was the doctor's favorite, and it was like the doctor was talking about getting me something special. And I don't know if I ever told you this story, and I was like, okay, okay. And then whenever the gifts started getting passed around, every package looked the same, from the doctor. And,
Hmm.
I want to say it was like, some kind of treat, like cookies or something. When everybody opened it up, it was the same thing. And I'm like, the whole time the doctor made it sound like, oh, I got you something real special, like real custom. And
Get yourself something real nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, I worked with a specialist once who it was blatantly obvious that these were regifts. All the assistants, it was like, I want to say I got a nutcracker. And I was like, okay, come on.
Right. Yeah, really.
Like
Yeah.
I think somebody got like a reindeer statue, and I remember us just sitting there at the lunch. We went to lunch, like a Christmas lunch, and like, of course we got to go back for patients, but I think I've been fortunate to where, we've worked in the morning, left at lunch, went and had a nice Christmas lunch, was given an envelope of cash, and then it was kind of okay. We went Christmas shopping after that. So, never one of these extravagant. I've seen someone post that, oh, hey, a limo picked us up and the doctor gave us, an envelope of cash, and we went and had a spa day, and we all went shopping, and then we went for a night out on the town. Nothing that excessive, but I think at the end of the day, if your office at least acknowledges you, just say thank you. Like, no matter how much of an insult you take it as, because next thing you know, it's gone. And then everybody's kind of complaining about, oh, hey, I wish I had 25 or $50. I tempted an
Yeah.
office a couple years in a row, and it was like, they always gave me a Visa gift card at the end of the year, and I was thankful for it. It was a nice surprise. Like I wasn't there a lot, but it definitely made me feel part of the team.
Yeah, and it's we could spin off onto another podcast about this, but you talk about like a night on the town and a limo and people picking you up, and you're spending, a 6, 7, 8 hour day evening with your other staff members. And then you're always going to have that one or two stinking staff members that's like, I'm just ready to go home. I don't want to be spending more time with my people that I work with. We spend enough time together. There's always one or two in the mix. So it's it's so nerve wracking to think that someone is just trying to do something for you. People really do have this passion of bringing a team together. And I don't even want to use the word, oh, we're a family. Like that's not the case, but team morale and working together. And there's no doubt that there's things that show that the more that you have this connection with the people that you work with, but then your day at work goes so much smoother and better as well. But uh, so if any dentists or staff are listening, as office managers, I guess, what do we do? How do we fix it? I think come January for next year, I really don't think it's too early. Obviously, you're a year ahead, but, really come up with a plan, come up with a number. If you've done the same thing over and over again, shake it up, do things different, then your employees aren't in this quote unquote expectation of, what is to be, this is what they've done every year. So now, somebody, your employees then expect this. And let's be honest, as a business, you have some good financial years and you have some years that aren't so great. You have years that, in dentistry, we're talking that, you know, new equipment needs to be purchased, or your office needed to be remodeled, or, equipment needed to be updated. And I know from an employee standpoint, they're like, oh, well, that's not my problem. I'm not the employer. But it's still factor financially of what can go into play then with getting, that holiday Christmas bonus. But, uh, having that week off and that employee pay for that week, I think that is my personal opinion of what can resolve a lot of the issue.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't think of a year, we were just talking about this, where I've seen so many people post, "Oh, hey, we're off, like this Friday's our last day and we don't have to come back till January 6th." Like I can't think of a year where I've seen people coming back so late. Now, I know Christmas falls on a Wednesday this year, but it's definitely I'm kind of my mind's blown by that, and then of course you see
Yeah,
offices
yeah,
that, also kind of piggybacking off of that is these offices that are closed a week or two, and now the staff is kind of like, they're not getting paid, and then
right.
and you read, well, they should have budgeted. Well, most people typically get like 4 to 8 days off a year, and if you close the practice for 2 weeks, like how are
Yes.
you supposed to budget? Not to mention the people who were hired later in the year. So, I've commented on a couple posts from dentists about that regarding you need to be more upfront in your interview process instead of springing that on people, at the very end of, oh, by the way, we're off a week or two and it's unpaid. Um,
Absolutely.
with that being said, I was in a dentist group and I saw an associate dentist was complaining. So, we always talk about, hey, dentists, they're just like us, right? They just got bigger problems. And this associate dentist just happened to look at the schedule for next week and realized the office was closed for a week. So now they're upset because they're losing their collections. So,
Right. Yeah, because it is an associate dentist. Most associate dentists typically, if they don't work, they don't get paid. So they don't have PTO time. So, it's something to, a lot of offices don't offer that associate doctor the same paid time off as they do all the other employees. So, you know, have a heart and communicate. That's really what it comes down to as well,
yeah, I mean, when I read that post, I said, did that associate dentist? I'm sure everybody's been buzzing and talking about the office being closed. Like, how are you just now checking your schedule and realize, like
Yeah.
I just that whole thing baffled me when I read that because like, don't you look at your schedule or at least hear the chatter? I mean, how out of touch are you that you didn't realize that's going on? But once again, that sounds like a pretty, important announcement that, like those staff meetings, you should have probably brought that up. Like, hey, just as a reminder, we're closed, the week of Christmas. So
Yeah, it's a touchy subject. It's the most wonderful time of the year, as the song says, but it's a difficult time of the year as well. And just we all handle things differently. We have loved ones that are not with us, and there's so many factors of this December month of Christmas and getting into New Year's, and of course we'll talk about goals and expectations for ourselves, maybe in our first episode in 2025. But, be thankful, be grateful, scratch off lottery tickets are easy. If someone gets you a gift, it's just thank you. And if you don't like it, then regift it to, Aunt Sally at the Christmas Eve party or something. But it's a very, very simple gesture. But I do hope that you all enjoy this holiday season of whatever season you do celebrate, and get into wrapping up the end of 2024. It's so hard to believe that a year has passed, honestly.
yeah, and it's been a great year. As far as all the support and love that we get on our social media platforms, so TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. Like we can't thank everyone enough for all the love and support. And this is closing out season 2. And we are already planning season 3, getting some episodes ready for that. We are on the verge of getting some real podcast equipment, so that's something we're excited about. We were kind of like, hey, let's see where this goes before obviously we make this kind of investment. But the uh, the fans have spoken, and I think overall a lot of people like what they hear. So I think it's a pretty good investment, wouldn't you say, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could not even express how, humbled and grateful we are, to those that listen and that are in the dental community or outside the dental community, obviously all across the world that we know that our numbers of, where our podcast is listened to. So thank you so much. Continue to stand tall, stand out, and be confident in your knowledge in the dental community or any field that you're in. Continue to grow and continue to train and learn new things. So thank you again, and we hope you have a great last few weeks of 2024.
Yeah, and once again, thank you so much. Please be sure to find, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. You can always find us at YouTube as well. Search Cornerstone Dental Assistant Academy or Dental Assistant Nerds podcast.